guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christmas Hutchinson. This is Thoughtful Thursdays, and I am here to help you live a more resilient life. So today I am going to be talking about how to manage anxiety. I'm only going to go through three different ways that you can manage it, and I would like to write more about this. I would also like to create other videos, longer videos about it, but these are just my quick tip videos that people can look and see if they're interested in the topics that I'm talking about. Because this is a topic that we could talk about day in and day out. And it's something that's really serious. Some people get medication for it. There are a lot of us suffer from it, and I really believe it's a cultural thing of why we suffer from it. So I just wanted to just talk about it today, and just to give you why do I think I could talk about anxiety is because I have had anxiety before. I was never officially diagnosed, but when I look back on situations that I've been in my life in the past, or just even how I acted and responded to things, at least 10 years ago, those were all anxious moments of me living in my head. I don't have those moments that much anymore, but they were really, really debilitating. And at that point, I didn't even know what it was. I thought everybody was like that. So let me jump right in. I've got my notes, and I want to start off with when you are feeling anxious about something and you're mulling over something over and over in your head, and you're getting into that point where you're being indecisive about something, or you're worried about the outcome of something. Because to me, anxiety and the anxiety that I've experienced is a lot of worry of outcomes. You have to force yourself to ask yourself, why are you anxious? Why are you anxious? Why are you feeling that way? And then it may even come down to you writing down all the reasons why you're anxious. You're going to eventually get to the point of why it is you're anxious. For instance, when I used to have anxiety at work, I would be worried that I was going to make a mistake, because if I made a mistake, I would get written up. And if I got written up, then I would have a warning in my file. And if I had multiple warnings in my file, I would end up getting fired. And if I got fired, then I'd be homeless. And if I was homeless, I would die. Like, you see the loop, and the one worry turns into the next worry, turns into the next worry, turns into the next worry. And quite frankly, all of the worries that we sit there talk and think about in our minds don't ever happen. Majority of it doesn't happen. There are some things that will happen, but at the end, you didn't die. So why... Sorry, I was just messing with that. Anyway, in the end, you didn't die. So it just is a good exercise to ask yourself, why are you worried? Why are you being anxious? What is the cause of this? And once you get into your mind that the end result of why you're worried may not happen, then you can calm yourself down. The second thing you want to do is ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? Based on the example I just gave you, the worst that could happen at my job is that I could get fired. And the worst that could happen is that I can be homeless and all these different things. Now, let's be clear. Like, none of that stuff is going to happen. I am a person who has work experience. I'm a person who can get other jobs, and if I can't get another job, then I can figure out ways to make money. So sitting there and spending hours thinking about the fact that I might lose my job and that really won't happen, it's purely wasted energy. So when you are thinking about what's the worst that could happen, like if you're anxious about being late, what's the worst that could happen if you're late? Now, if you're repeatedly late, then you're going to work, then obviously you'll get written up and it'll be frowned upon. But if you're late to an event and you're normally not late, the worst that could happen is that someone may be a little bit upset with you, and you could just say, you know, thank you for waiting, but I had some sort of issue. Now, if you're being intentionally late and then you're anxious about it, like, I can't help you. But if you are being thoughtful about the decisions that you're making and thoughtful about how you're going through life, there's nothing really to worry about. And the worst that could happen, all of the worst things that could happen are not going to happen. And you have to resist the urge to convince yourself of that, or just spending the time thinking that way. And the third thing, and the last thing that I'm going to bring up today, is try your best to resist the urge to be anxious. So you all know how this loop goes. Something is happening, something either is happening or is going to happen or just happened. And you're thinking about how it could have gone differently, and you're thinking about your action or your decision or your choice on this particular thing, how it's going to affect what happens in 15-20 minutes down the road tomorrow. Oh, for instance, you text somebody and they didn't respond back to you, and you're thinking, well, why didn't they text me back? Was there something I said? Was my tone? Is their phone off? Are they dead? Are they this? Why are they're rude? Like, all of these different things just come into your head for no reason. Like, it is just this negative thought feedback loop that goes on and on and on and on. And if you just take a step back and take a step outside of yourself, you will understand that none of it's going to happen, and none of it is a good use of your energy. So a good use of your energy is when you think about it, when you get that urge to be anxious, because I still get that urge to be anxious. But when you think about it, just think, what am I freaking out about? What's gonna happen? Nothing. And if the person didn't text you back, so what? Now you know where you are on their priority list. If you didn't get the job, so what? That job wasn't meant for you. You just have to think about, so what? It takes practice. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But when you start to get self-awareness about your anxiety, then that is when you will start to get to a point where you can start managing it. It won't ever go away. There's always going to be some anxiety about situations, because that's just human nature. I'm pretty sure there are some people who don't get any anxiety, but I mean, given the kind of culture we live in, it's probably rare. I'm going to go ahead and close up today's Thoughtful Thursday about anxiety. Just remember that a lot of us in this world, we suffer from it. When you see people walking through the streets, they're just as worried as you are. They're just as evaluative of their actions as you are. And you just to get through it, you got to be more aware of it. And so just to recap of the things that you can do to start to try to take control of it is: ask yourself why you're anxious. Ask yourself what is the worst that can happen. And then lastly, try your best to resist the urge. When thoughts come in your head, recognize it and tell yourself, no, I'm not going to let this thoughts overtake my mind. Do whatever you have to do, whether or not you have to go for a run, whether or not you have to go to sleep or watch TV or read a book. Just resist the urge, because that negative feedback loop, that negative thought feedback loop is just not good. It's debilitating. It'll stress you out. It'll make you even physically sick. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's Thoughtful Thursdays, and I will see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.